So, and then next up, last thing, our last topic for the day, Bob Quinn recently did a press conference last week where he pretty much laid out how the team's going to be working through all this and some of the precautions that he's taken so far. And we always say that they don't really get too much from these type of conferences. They just kind of come out, answer some questions, and just give some, just basic answers. But was there anything that really stood out to you that he said, or anything that you took away from his press conference?
Yeah, what stood out was the amazing attention to detail that the team has undergone regarding COVID. For example, they changed the drink coolers from ones that you have to have a door with a handle to grab to an open air cooler so you can just reach in and grab a drink.
Nice.
They have these contact tracing bracelets, which alerts you if you get too close to a higher risk person. That's an amazing technology there. They have a new phone app they developed allowing you to order food to be delivered to you instead of having a buffet or cafeteria style. So it was really interesting to listen to Bob Quinn discuss all that. And Tori Petrie actually had a podcast this week as well, talking with Rod Wood and Matt Barnes, who was in charge of the IDER for the Lions, discussing more of that as well. Now, as far as NFL-related issues with Bob Quinn's presser, he talked about how there's going to be no free agent tryouts currently. So it's going to be interesting to see how the NFL handles street free agents during the season. If a team has a massive outbreak and they need to bring guys off the street, in previous years, you could just bring a guy off the street and he could be playing the next day in a real NFL game. This year, what are they going to do about that? Are street free agents going to have to go through a multi-day quarantine and testing procedure before they can even be with the team? If they are, then the roster, which is currently at 71, which includes the practice squad, maybe that's not even enough. Hopefully it's enough, because if you get an outbreak within a few days of a game, there's not going to be enough time to bring in anybody else.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's going to be real interesting to see how they work that practice squad, because as we mentioned before, that's kind of how they're going to be working the practice squad. But that's the thing, you can bring them up immediately from the practice squad, but if they're already there, they're being tested, they're already under, like you said, if you're bringing signing someone off the street, then we're not really sure how it's going to play out at all. If they have, like you said, if they're going to be quarantined, or what the team's going to do to take precautions to protect the rest of the team.
So yeah, these practice squad guys are going to be really important this year. One thing I was thinking about the practice squad is, do we want to keep an extra punter, an extra kicker? We talked about this earlier with the punter and kicker.
Yeah.
If we lose our starting punter, if we lose Prater, we might want to have a kicker on the practice squad just to bring up, so we're not having to be without a kicker for a week or two.
Exactly. Yeah. It's kind of the idea of hopefully or possibly keeping a quarantine kicker, punter, quarterback, just some of those important positions. Because like you said, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, that those horrible few years ago where we went through kicker after kicker, it's terrible to see. If you don't have a decent kicker the entire game, we've lost, again, we mentioned this entire last year, we lost by only a touchdown or so, and we've seen what those simple just 3 points can make a huge change in a game. So
yeah, kicker matters, and long snapper matters too. If we lose Mubach, we could have some fumbled snaps and some bad snaps this year if he's out for 2 to 3 weeks.
Again, as I mentioned it earlier, special teams is such an overlooked thing, because when it's going fine, no one cares. Again, we've had Don Molbeck back there for so long. We've had Matt Prater for the last few years, so people just forget what it was like to not have a good kicker. And again, with Sam Martin, again, he kind of dropped off, but still, he was a solid option at punter. He was probably one of the top 10 for the last few years still, and you just kind of get used to having him there. Now that we don't even know what's going to happen, it's going to be real crazy to see if one of, like you said, Don Molbeck or the punter or Matt Prater gets COVID, they're out for a week or a game, whatever. It's going to be real crazy. I remember, what year was it? We had Nate and Ndamukong Suh kick a field goal.
Oh, he almost made it too.
Yeah, it could look like that this year.
That was his rookie year. Yeah,
we could have defensive tackles out there kicking field goals for us.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah,
this ties back nicely to the Braden Coombs article you wrote. Braden Coombs is going to have to talk with Matt Patricia and come up with a strategy for this. What happens if they lose one of these unique specialists who teams typically don't keep a backup for?
Yeah, exactly. Do we really need a backup long snapper? But who knows? This year, we might possibly have to. It's going to be real interesting to see. And again, maybe they are going to increase the practice squad size to accommodate, maybe again, just for those certain positions. Maybe they'll add just like certain position practice squad things, like an extra quarterback, an extra punter or something. Maybe they might adjust the rules like that. Who knows? It's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a real crazy year. This is obviously new for everyone, in GMs, coaches, everyone's never been through this. So everyone's just got to kind of take it as it goes. And so it looks like that's going to do it for us today. I want to thank everyone again for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.